The goals Elon sets for himself are so lofty that he is often criticized for not being able to reach them. Launching and recovering rockets, making electric cars mainstream, lowering launch costs by 90%, Hyperloop, etc. The thing is, the detractors and the critics cease to criticize him once he reaches his goals. However, once he reaches the next one, the critics start attacking him again. He has an amazing track record, so who has the guts to bet against him? His fights include, for instance, being named by a UN official who said that only a small percentage of Elon Musk's $300 billion fortune could solve world hunger. The Tesla CEO tweeted his challenge. If WFP can describe on this Twitter thread exactly how $6 billion will solve world hunger, I will sell Tesla stock right now and do it. In addition, Twitter actively obstructed Mr. Musk's rights as he was completing a $44 billion deal to buy the social media service, the lawyers wrote. They said that the company was refusing Musk's data requests to disclose the number of fake accounts on its platform. The lawyers argued that this breach of the agreement was clearly material, allowing Musk to terminate the contract. He has also been described as a clown, genius, edgelord, visionary, industrialist, and showman. Times also highlighted Musk's broad range of accomplishments that range from his founding of SpaceX in 2002 to his involvement in the development of alternative energy company SolarCity. All that on top of Tesla, the world's most valuable automobile company. According to the magazine, the annual recognition was not an award, but rather a recognition of the person who had the most influence on the events of the year, for good or for ill. Furthermore, Tesla CEO Elon Musk complained that President Joe Biden ignored his electric car company to pay more attention to the legacy automakers in an email exchange with the CNBC. The comments were made after CNBC contacted Musk regarding fresh reports that Biden and the White House are not considering inviting Musk to an upcoming corporate meeting. Musk stated in the email, "The notion of a feud is not quite right. Biden has pointedly ignored Tesla at every turn and falsely stated to the public that GM leads the electric car industry, when in fact, Tesla produced over 300,000 electric vehicles last quarter, and GM produced 26. Furthermore, Elon Musk claimed that he was almost bullied to death. He had a miserable childhood and thought he was insane when he was 5 or 6 or something. But what made him think he was insane? Since other people didn't seem to have ideas constantly bursting in their heads, it was clear that they did not care. At the time, they weren't expressing or talking about it, and you realize that by the time you were 5 or 6, they probably aren't even getting what he was getting, and it made him feel different. His ordinariness didn't become apparent until much later in life. It wasn't obvious at the time. Did it bother him in any way at all? Is he aware that this is something he probably wouldn't be able to commiserate with others about? According to him, people wouldn't understand, and he hoped that they wouldn't discover it because he might be put away or something. It occurred to him for a moment as he was growing up. And what was it like? He felt like there was an explosion everywhere. Constant ideas are just bouncing around. As soon as everybody leaves, Elon is left alone at home, brushing his teeth. Then he has a bunch of thoughts bouncing around his head. Growing up, he read everything he could get his hands on, and he was always quite enthusiastic about reading. Then, when he was 9 or 10, he read the encyclopedia every day. Although he didn't intend to read the encyclopedia, he was desperately searching for something to read when he read the encyclopedia. And he mentioned that this is because he was eager to learn. So at a young age, he had that drive as well. In addition, he was just as easily bored unless he was doing something like reading or playing video games. So what made him decide to move to North America and live his dream? He said that when he was younger, he didn't have any big dreams. Also, it was because he liked computer games and played a lot of them that he started programming computers. Then he realized that he could get more money and buy more computers if he wrote software and sold it. Thus for him, he didn't have any grand plans. Additionally, he read a lot of philosophy, religious texts, as well as non-fiction, including encyclopedias. He distinctly remembers about reading ion engines in elementary school when he was just in his early teens. Now, he's actually using ion engines to launch satellites. He has also been compared to colorful tycoons from US histories, such as Steve Jobs, Howard Hughes, and Henry Ford. And according to Forbes' real-time billionaire list as of June 21st, 2022, Musk had an estimated net worth of $213.9 billion. Further, Elon Musk has been the subject of many harsh criticisms throughout his entrepreneurial endeavors. It's worth noting that a great deal of these criticisms are old and apply only to when Elon was just starting SpaceX and Tesla. And back then, he was still quite young, and many saw him as a likely failure, which he nearly was. Elon Musk has received criticisms for expanding beyond the original 3 huge companies he founded, Tesla, SpaceX, and SolarCity, within the last few years. Aside from this, he has been hailed as the Times Person of the Year in 2021. There is a pretty big one, and this is why he has so many skeptics as well as so many prominent supporters. In other words, he could expand his portfolio too rapidly and create something that takes away from his past successes rather than building on them, especially in the case of the last few years. With such criticisms, aside from the huge companies, Elon Musk was able to create the following: Hyperloop 1, which aims to move passengers faster than an airplane at a fraction of the cost of air travel. Then, founded in December 2015, OpenAI is a company researching artificial intelligence to make the inevitable introduction of AI as an enjoyable and safe experience. There's also Neuralink, which he founded in 2016 with a mission to develop effective brain-computer interfaces. Then, in 2016, The Boring Company, an infrastructure and tunneling company aiming to reduce the insane traffic in the area of Los Angeles and California, and later throughout the entire United States, was founded. In all of these companies, Elon has been one of the key founders except for Hyperloop 1. Even so, he maintains a presence at Hyperloop mainly to aid in long-term funding and visionary planning. He may be so distracted by all of these new companies that he will overlook those who need his attention more. Critics miss the point that Elon stays organized throughout the day and stays focused where he needs to be. He knows how to partition up his time, up to a certain extent, just by being able to put a percentage on that. The other thing is that Elon primarily serves as an advisor or associate for companies outside of his 3 main companies. Having co-founded Hyperloop, Neuralink, and OpenAI, he has mostly stepped back from day-to-day operations and relies on new employees or interns to ensure that deadlines are met. Unlike many other successful people who have made millions from a startup, Elon Musk has invested his earnings into pursuing entrepreneurial endeavors rather than just living extravagant lifestyles. I would say that the facts and Elon's track record include more than what a skeptic can criticize. There is also the question of who else would be crazy enough to start a company like Hyperloop 1 or The Boring Company. Of course, there will be others like Elon Musk. Sadly, they may not have the funds to start or access a proper education. Despite how cliché it may sound, he is trying to make the world a better place, and for that, we should applaud him. Consequently, Elon Musk is difficult to interact with. Like all geniuses, he reacts and behaves differently from most people. Things he say astonish, disconcert, or shock, and such is the mark of a genius. Elon Musk, like any other genius, is ambitious beyond the limits of society. The look on everyone's faces when he says humans will reach Mars in less than 10 years is priceless. But he is firm, and people like Elon Musk for this kind of operation is essential. As a result, humanity advances in directions many thought were impossible. That's why we do our best to make things that people love. Having said that, I believe that people can choose not to be ordinary. They can believe that they need not adhere to the expectations that their parents instilled in them. As a result, I believe that ordinary people can become extraordinary. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. Also, thank you for watching. If you would like to receive updates on Elon Musk and his companies, make sure you click the subscribe and bell button.